Welcome to this episode of Movies You Want to Watch. I'm your host, Gina Jordan.
Hey, you look different.
Coming up in this episode of Movies You Want to Watch, Amy Poehler and Paul Rudd pair up again for their hilarious new comedy, They Came Together.
The movie is superfluous. It's all about the promotion.
Plus, Boyhood.
Hey, stop! Put the barrier up!
It's a movie that Ethan Hawke and Patricia Arquette took 12 years to shoot.
I never questioned it for a second.
And it's a film that was Paul Newman's last project before he passed away in 2008. Lucky Them, starring Toni Collette, Thomas Haden Church, and Johnny Depp in a soul-searching drama getting a lot of buzz.
He and Joan Woodward are sort of the patron saints of the movie.
That's all coming up right now in this episode of Movies You Want to Watch. Before they hit the theater.
Do you want a cup of me with Koofy?
Before they win an Oscar, watch a sneak peek at Hollywood's latest films and the talent who stars in them.
I was drooling a lot last year.
I'm very badly behaved.
It's Movies You Want to Watch with me, Gina Jordan.
Please let me be in this movie.
You know you wanna.
You know you wanna.
You know you wanna.
Welcome to this episode of Movies You Want to Watch. I'm Gina Jordan, coming at you from the historic Cinema Village Theater right here in New York City. Our team recently took a field trip all the way to Park City, Utah to attend the 30th annual Sundance Film Festival. Movies You Want to Watch recently hit the Sundance Film Festival to bring you the premiere of They Came Together, written and directed by David Wayne, starring Paul Rudd and Amy Poehler. Both of you actually were here last year, but this year you came back as a Golden Globe winner, and this year you're just coming back as smarter, a bigger star, Anchorman, smarter, more.
Prove that he's smarter. I'd like to see.
I'd like to see it too.
Like last year, you didn't know the capital of Montana, and this year it's
Billings.
So you are smarter.
I was drooling a lot last year. I was on the press line, and they had to put a cork at the end of my fork.
It's about time Rudd and Poehler hit the big screen together again.
Kind of a corny romantic comedy kind of story.
That's true.
I mean, we're in it for the press.
Amy and I have often said the reason, the movie is superfluous. It's all about the promotion.
The hilarious duo effortlessly create movie magic on and off screen. By the way, Paul Rudd's squeezing me, and I'm standing here with Amy Poehler. We're in the mix with Amy Poehler.
It's not that big of a deal. You're like the fourth person he squoze.
I felt a little special.
I'm a squeezer.
You can't do it anymore. You're gonna get in trouble. You're gonna get arrested. You're gonna get arrested.
She was a little jealous there.
No, I would like to talk to you all night.
Rudd and Poehler first came together in 2001 for the rom-com Wet Hot American Summer.
Hey, Andy, can I pick out the Barbie bus?
Sure.
For the past decade, Poehler made her mark, creating a slew of memorable characters on Saturday Night Live. The SNL star continued to wow fans on the big screen in Mean Girls and Baby Mama, both films co-starring alongside SNL alum Tina Fey.
What is this? Water.
In 2009, Poehler returned to NBC to play Leslie on Parks and Recreation, a role that earned the 42-year-old a Best Actress Golden Globe Award earlier this year.
Welcome.
Since Wet Hot Summer, Rudd has been equally as busy creating box office hits, including The 40-Year-Old Virgin, This Is 40, and Anchorman 1 and 2.
Cruise control just regulates speed. It doesn't steer.
He says we're all gonna die!
Now, a decade later, Rudd and Poehler reunite on the big screen in They Came Together, a quirky love story about falling for your worst enemy.
I'm a regular here.
Yeah, regular beanbag.
It's fun working with him.
Very fun. We worked together many years ago and hadn't worked together enough.
The film follows Joel and Molly, an unlikely duo who find themselves in a whirlwind romance after getting off to a not-so-sweet start. You guys working together is super fun. I saw the clip of you asking for coffee, which was hysterical.
Like a cup of coffee.
I know this sounds crazy, but would you like to have a Mia coffee with cup?
What?
Do you want a cup of me with Koofy? Would you like to have a cup of Mafi with me? A cup of coffee with who? That was a really fun scene to shoot. Everything was it. This movie is really dumb. and it's really funny. It's dumb in the best way, I think. We had a really fun time making it.
In They Came Together, Rudd's big bad boss is played by Law & Order SVU star Chris Maloney.
I play the CEO of a candy company with diabolical plans to put Amy Poehler out of business.
You're mean in this film.
I'm a CEO. Bottom line, baby.
All hail Joe!
Maloney agreed. Rudd and Poehler have a unique chemistry together and create a winning comedic duo. Tell us about what it was like to work with a pretty funny cast. I mean, you got Paul Rudd, Amy Poehler, Golden Globe winner Amy Poehler.
Yes, she's a winner. But she was a winner in my book even before she won.
Ellie Kemper co-stars in They Came Together and admitted Rudd and Poehler are a killer combo. Amy Poehler, incredible. Paul Rudd,
incredible.
Chris Maloney, who I personally am a huge fan.
Where does it end? No, I just said this cast is like wild with talent.
Tell us a little bit about the director and how you got the part.
I met David. I was a fan of his for such a long time, and then he directed a pilot that I did last spring, and I got to know him through that. And like the luckiest woman, he wasn't the luckiest woman. I was the luckiest woman. They needed to make some changes to the film, and he asked me to do it.
We're not done.
Yeah, sit down.
Well, actually, it's getting so late.
Sit your ass down, Karen.
I'm only in a scene. It's a scene that stretches throughout the
Naked scene for your ass?
It's an all-nude scene. It's only me. And David didn't want it in the movie, but I insisted.
You're like, you are not leaving that on the cutting room floor.
You really need to have this to tell the story. And I was very brave to do it. But yeah, I haven't seen the final cut yet.
They Came Together may be Kemper's first nude scene, but she's no stranger to comedic roles and made fans laugh in several films, including Get Him to the Greek, 21 Jump Street, and who can forget Bridesmaids.
Excuse me, could I have a glass of alcohol?
Kemper's big break was on the hit TV series The Office, where she played Erin, a naive receptionist.
Bosses like women who can talk at length on things.
You're so fantastic in The Office. Don't we all love her, guys? It's true.
Everyone's nodding their heads wildly.
Cut to nodding heads wildly.
I don't know. I was a fan of the show before being on it. It's a good show.
Fantastic
it's a healing show. It's very good.
How did you get the part for way back in the day on The Office?
I originally auditioned for Parks and Recreation, and I met the producers through that, and then that didn't work out. But then The Office worked out.
Kemper's star continues to rise. The talented actress is gearing up for a new TV series written and executive produced by Tina Fey. Unbreakable, Kimmy Schmidt.
I'm going to be in a series that Tina Fey and Robert Carlock wrote, and it's a show about a woman who escaped from a cult and starts life over in New York City. So you tell me what's not to like about that.
Actor Max Greenfield, best known for starring alongside Zooey Deschanel on the Fox series New Girl, plays Jake in They Came Together.
They Came Together.
Oh, yes, they did. And it's starring Max Greenfield.
No, it's starring Paul Rudd and Amy Poehler.
So tell us what it was like to work with Paul Rudd and Amy Poehler, Golden Globe winner.
I wish I could do a funny bit with you right now about it. It was the best.
Greenfield admitted he was a fan of the Rudd and Poehler comedic duo way before he even walked on set.
So I had done the first season of New Girl, and then we went to do this movie, and it was such a crazy year for me. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, you're doing this movie with Amy Poehler and Paul Rudd, two people who you were straight up fans of, and now you're working with them. And for the experience to live up to everything that you had hoped it was going to be was almost too much to ask for. In an odd way, we all kind of did this movie together, and it felt that way. There was no trailers, everybody was together, and we all genuinely believed and got the comedy of it and the tone of it. And when you have all that and you have all these great people, it makes it what it's supposed to be, and it was just fun.
You can also catch the Golden Globe nominee starring alongside Kristen Bell as Leo D'Amato in Veronica Mars.
Veronica, whatever you're doing, please be careful.
They Came Together is a movie you want to watch and hits theaters June 27th.
You know, you're pretty adorable when you get all fussy like that.
Still to come, Boyhood.
I never questioned it for a second.
It's a movie that Ethan Hawke and Patricia Arquette took 12 years to shoot. And it's a film that was Paul Newman's last project before he passed away in 2008. Lucky Them, starring Toni Collette, Thomas Haden Church, and Johnny Depp, in a soul-searching drama getting a lot of buzz. Don't move. Movies You Want to Watch will be right back. When you hit Park City, Utah, the #1 dining destination you can't miss is the River Horse restaurant on Main Street. River Horse has been serving up 5-star eclectic American cuisine since 1987. Signature dishes like the mouth-watering pistachio-encrusted halibut are thanks to executive chef and co-owner Seth Adams.
We try to do the best job we can every day, and we like what we do.
The River Horse is open year-round for lunch and dinner, located at 540 Main Street in the heart of scenic Park City, Utah. Welcome back. I'm Gina Jordan, bringing you movies you want to watch. Movies You Want to Watch recently hit the Sundance Film Festival to bring you the premiere of this next film, Boyhood, directed by Richard Linklater, starring Ethan Hawke and Patricia Arquette. It took director James Cameron approximately 15 years to complete his beloved masterpiece, Avatar.
I waited 10 years to start it, and it's been 4.5 years to make, which is twice the length of time it took to make Titanic.
The film Eyes Wide Shut took Stanley Kubrick decades to create and made the Guinness Book of World Records for 15 months on the longest continuous film shoot ever. Yet, Kubrick died before fully completing the film on his own.
It's just a new way of telling a story, I think.
Boyhood is the first fictitious film that literally took 12 years to create on purpose.
It's actually pretty optimistic, I think, if you think just the thought that you would be around 12 years from now, be viable, you're taking a leap of faith in the future, I guess.
Linklater, Hawke, and Arquette took a leap of faith when signing on to create Boyhood. Linklater intended on creating a film over a 12-year time span in an effort to naturally capture the actors aging, physically and emotionally, with no special effects.
It's called Boyhood because it's kind of the point of view of a young boy. It's really 12 years, 1st through 12th grade.
Boyhood was shot every summer over 12 years and follows Mason, played by Eller Coltrane, as he literally grows up on screen. The beginning of the film captures Hawke and Arquette in the middle of a divorce. Mason is just 6 years old.
You see him grow up, but you also see his sibling and his parents grow up in age.
Hey, stop! Put the barrier up!
Linklater, best known for directing Dazed and Confused and School of Rock, drew on his personal experience as a father to create the film.
I wouldn't say it's necessarily autobiographical, but it's very personal. Little things, and it's contemporary, so it's not like a period film from my own childhood, but a lot of the dynamics are close.
Linklater's own daughter, Lorelai, plays Mason's sister in Boyhood. Although there was a moment Linklater almost lost her.
I remember about year 3, Lorelai came to me and asked me, can my character, die?
Do you have a fascination with evolution of people and families and relationships?
Maybe so. It just sort of worked out that way.
Hawke is an Oscar-nominated actor who initially established himself with roles in coming-of-age films, Dead Poets Society, and Reality Bites.
All you have to be by the age of 23 is yourself.
In Boyhood, Hawke plays Mason Sr. and told us he had no problem committing to a 12-year project with longtime collaborator and friend Linklater. Was there a moment that you said, why am I involved in this all these years?
Oh, never. When Richard Linklater called me up and said, hey, I want to make a movie I need a 12-year commitment from you. It's a big deal. But I had already made several films with him, and he's already, a filmmaker that I just think is an American original. There's nobody else like him. And so for me, it's easy. I never questioned it for a second.
Linklater first directed Hawke in the 1995 cult hit Before Sunrise, co-starring with Julie Delpy. The trio went on to create the Academy Award-nominated sequels Before Sunset and Before Midnight.
I assure you, that guy you vaguely remember, the sweet romantic one that you met on a train, that is me.
That film that came out last spring, they're still talking about it, and we're still, wonderfully, involved in that. But that we're showing this film now. So I like the overlap. It feels healthy.
Linklater admitted Boyhood inspired those award-winning iconic sequels.
We actually started this film before we did before Sunset. Coming aboard for this 12-year commitment sort of empowered me and Ethan too to maybe revisit Celine and Jesse. We did those two films within this film.
Hawke admitted over the 12-year span of working on Boyhood, his life has changed drastically. Ethan split from wife Uma Thurman in 2005, with whom he has 2 children, before marrying his former nanny in 2008 and adding another 2 kids to his clan. When it comes to family, is it more important than everything else in the world to you, and why?
People like to say that family is more important, but family is all of us. You know, I mean, family is our community. You know, I always think when people stress family like that, it somehow isolates people who feel like they don't have a family. You know, I mean, I always felt that way as a child of divorce. Whenever I felt, oh, Christmas is a time for family, I always felt like really depressed, like somehow Christmas wasn't for me.
Yet, Hawke says he has bigger ideas when it comes to family. His ideal concept is ultimately a globally connected community.
I think family is, we all make it. We're all in it.
Are we family? Is that what you're trying to say? I'm family with you. I love Ethan. Hawke's 12-year co-star and wife Olivia in the film is played by Patricia Arquette.
The first year, Rick had me take care of the kids. I spent a weekend with them and made them breakfast, and we did art projects, and I tucked them in bed, and we just hung out, just the 3 of us.
Looking back over the 12 years it took to shoot Boyhood, Arquette also experienced some major life changes. She divorced Nicolas Cage, married Thomas Jane in 2001. Eventually, they divorced 10 years later in 2011.
People got married, people got divorced, babies came, babies went, people lost houses, people bought houses. I mean, everything happened. People got cancer, people got over cancer, people's parents died. I mean, it was just life. You know, I just felt grateful to be a part of it. I mean, when Richard called me and said that he put together this movie and that would I be interested in doing it, I just felt like, what an incredible opportunity.
Yet, Patricia says this film might never have happened if it wasn't for IFC's belief in it.
First of all, to get funding from IFC for 13 years when they knew they wouldn't even recoup their money for that long of a period was just so brave. And it's not a bombastic movie, and I just think it's a very unique opportunity, a beautiful movie, and really what you want to do as an artist when you start working.
Arquette said she loved shooting Boyhood so much, she didn't want it to end. Was there ever a moment you didn't want to work on this film?
No, there was never. As a matter of fact, I was really bummed out this film was finished shooting, and I didn't want it to come out. I just felt like I want to keep making this movie, and I don't want to share this with the world. This is kind of our life.
For Arquette, who has a daughter Harlow with ex Thomas Jane and son Enzo with musician Paul Rossi, the film's overall message rings true. No family is perfect.
I think all families are dysfunctional. I don't believe that there is any such thing as a perfect family, but this family has a lot of love in it. I think it all goes fast, and you know, you'll see in this movie, it's sort of like looking back at your kid growing up. It just, everything happens so quickly, and before you know it, they're grown.
Boyhood is a movie you want to watch and hits theaters July 11th.
Where do you want to be, Mason? What do you want to do?
Still to come.
Musicians, men, toxic to me.
Lucky Them, starring Toni Collette, Thomas Haden Church, and Johnny Depp in a soul-searching drama getting a lot of buzz. Don't move. Movies You Want to Watch will be right back.
Just point.
With nowhere to look,
just move,
to turn.
Just share,
you saw me
as you naturally would.
And showed me
just point,
much I still
just move,
have to learn.
Just share.
And the
Smart, inspired by you. LG Cinema 3D Smart TV.
This episode of Movies You Want to Watch is presented by LG. Welcome back. I'm Gina Jordan, bringing you movies you want to watch. Our team recently hit the Tribeca Film Festival to bring you this next film you want to watch, Lucky Them, a drama starring Toni Collette, Thomas Haden Church, and a cameo role with Sir Johnny Depp.
Miss Ellie, it's your boss.
I cannot cover for you anymore. What's going on with the story?
Lucky Them was one of Paul Newman's last film projects before he passed on at 86 years old on September 26, 2008 from lung cancer in Westport, Connecticut.
You always said that any one of us could challenge you, Butch.
Well, that's because I figured no one would do it.
The legendary actor and director who starred in several classic Hollywood movies, including Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, The Sting, also had a deep passion for giving back. He dedicated his life to helping others. Since '82, his remarkable Newman's Own Foundation has officially raised more than $400 million that have benefited numerous educational and charitable organizations.
What could be better than to hold your hand out to people who are less fortunate than you are?
Today, Newman's family, wife Joanne and daughter Claire, continue to carry on Newman's legacy, which included finishing the film Lucky Them, one of the last movie projects Newman was dedicated to and emotionally vested in before his unfortunate passing.
I was attached to the movie for a good while. I was sent the script in a letter by Paul Newman, and he and Joan Woodward are sort of the patron saints of the movie, and so I was attached for a pretty good while, and then finally when Toni signed on, we were able to get it done.
Joanne and Claire quickly picked up where Newman left off to help make the film Lucky Them a reality.
I've been supportive in any way I can be, just through family connections and help get funding, and that's my job. From the very beginning, I remember when my dad first read the script and he loved it, which he was a tough customer. And he gave her notes, and this is not, I'm not in the movie business, but he gave her notes and he spent a lot of time. In fact, I remember Emily saying, I don't know, he probably won't read it right away. I think he read it in like 2 hours. And got back to her right away and said, I really, really like it. He gave her a couple of notes and was really just, like almost like an uncle or like, the other daddy, he was really involved and wanted it to be successful.
After 11 years in the making, the film Newman believed in from its early incarnation, Lucky Them hit the big screen and recently premiered at the Tribeca Film Festival.
He's wanting me to find him. You're in crazy town.
The entire cast was on board: Collette, Church, Platt, and Eggold. Toni Collette is best known for her film roles as Muriel in Muriel's Wedding and Cheryl Hoover in Little Miss Sunshine.
Sarcasm is the refuge of losers.
How much do I owe you for those pearls of
Oh,
wisdom?
that one's on the house.
You're not going to charge me for that?
Laugh it up.
You started it.
Who can forget her brilliant portrayal of a suburban housewife with a split personality disorder in Showtime's Golden Globe award-winning series, United States of Tara?
And guess what? Oak Avenue, the lady with all the personalities, is not the most person on the block.
You are now.
The actress took a break from her current Broadway show, The Realistic Joneses, starring Tracy Letts, Marissa Tomei, and Michael C. Hall, to promote her latest film.
I don't want to relive this, so quit. I can't quit my job. It's all I've got.
But doesn't part of you want to know what happened?
Lucky Them is set around Toni Collette's character, Ellie, who's forced to face her past in order to find her future.
Matthew Smith, the truth behind the mystery. I know he disappeared and broke your heart. But for God's sake, it was 10 years ago. You have to reclaim your place at this magazine. I need you to find him.
Don't make me do this.
With some help from an unlikely friend, Charlie, who's played by Oscar nominee Thomas Haden Church, Ellie just might find what she's looking for.
They found his car over there.
No one can survive that. No one.
Charlie.
My bad.
I play a woman called Ellie Klug who has a few issues. She's a music journalist. She's not doing very well in her life. She lost the love of her life 10 years prior to when the story starts. And you don't know whether he committed suicide or whether he just kind of disappeared. He was on the precipice of major stardom as a musician, and it kind of ruined her. She hasn't been able to get on with her life. So this is the story of her boss, played by Oliver Platt actually. He forces her to write a story to help kind of save the magazine she works for and to prove her worth about this enigmatic musician whom she knew very well called Matthew Smith.
Your deadline is next week. Find Matthew. Write a very good story about it.
For what? Fire me?
That's right.
It's about her looking into her past, everything she's avoided, everything that's been hurting her and preventing her from moving on. She just has to look at it. And she develops this really unlikely friendship with Thomas Haden Church's character. And he ends up kind of joining her on the journey and making a weird little documentary about her looking for Matthew Smith. And they are very funny together, and they end up kind of somehow letting their guards down and becoming friends.
Interview 1, take 1. Ellie Klug, and action.
This particular character, she's such a mixed bag of things because she's so confident in certain parts of her life, and then she gives off this kind of tough veneer, and it's nothing but self-defense really. And she's just a bit of a mess, you know. She stays out all night and bonks all the wrong young guys, knowing that it won't lead to anything because she can't handle it. And you know, she's still doing things she did in her 20s. She's 40 now. She needs to kind of deal with it.
Hey, El, I was thinking that, I don't know, that maybe we shouldn't do this anymore.
You're breaking up with me?
At this point in my life, it's just like I want something more, and it doesn't seem like you do.
The Golden Globe winner revealed one of the best parts of shooting Lucky Them was connecting with the underground music scene.
There are a lot of really great bands, local bands. We shot it in Seattle, and it's very much immersed in that music scene.
Collette admitted she was so immersed in the filmmaking experience, she didn't want to leave.
Whatever expectations I had, they were just exceeded. It was just such a fun shoot, and it was just, everything was more poignant, just better, deeper, funnier than I anticipated. And the local crew there were just outstanding. They were so much fun and so dedicated and passionate and so wonderful at what they did. Yeah, I cried when I left Seattle. I loved it.
Colette's co-stars Oliver Platt, who plays Giles in Lucky Them, and Ryan Eggold, who plays a musician, Lucas Stone, both felt lucky to be a part of such a talented ensemble.
I just love the script, you know, and also Toni Collette, to me, is like, I mean, literally one of the great actresses in the English-speaking language. Tom Church ain't no slouch either.
She's amazingly talented, obviously, we all know that, and it was a joy to work with her. She's so easy. I mean, you know, it's easy to work with really good actors because when you're doing the scene, it feels real, and it just takes some of the onus off you to act, and you get to just sort of be and find good stuff together. And she's great. You know, she played a really great character. She had this kind of rock and roll edge to her, which she hasn't had a lot, I don't think. I don't think she's played that a lot, so it's nice to see her playing something new. And it was great. I mean, I got to make out with Toni Collette, so best job in the world.
Eggold, who played Ryan Matthews on 90210, took his musician role seriously and saw Lucky Them as a real opportunity to debut his music skills.
I got to play a musician named Lucas, who has sort of an affair of sorts with Toni's character, and it was great. And I got to record some original songs and put them in the film. And my first, foray into anything musically inclined, so that's kind of fun new area.
Sideways star Thomas Haden Church portrays an amateur filmmaker, Charlie, in Lucky Them.
It's a move that I invented. It's a gunslinger whip. A gunslinger tilt. You ready? You ready? You ready? Action. I play a guy who's a wannabe rockumentary filmmaker, and she decides that she's going to go looking for this mysterious sort of lost rock and roll guy, and I tag along to make a documentary about him.
Lucky Them is a movie you want to watch in theaters right now.
We look backwards to avoid going forwards.
So he's looking at you. So he's looking at you.
That's going to do it for this episode of Movies You Want to Watch. I'm Gina Jordan, signing off from the Cinema Village in Greenwich Village, Manhattan. We look forward to seeing you next time. You know you wanna. This week's Celebrity Selfie Shot is brought to you by LG. Life's good.
I love seeing Kelly Ripa. Yay! You're so cute.